So had a little bit of time off. Got to enjoy. Just got back from Florida. Went to
Yay.
had to go do the Disney Hollywood Studios. Got to see some Star Wars stuff. So thank you for wearing your Star Wars shirt today.
Yay.
There's some new
I'm
Star Wars.
full.
Exactly. There's some new Star Wars content coming out soon. I saw a trailer for it. I'm gonna check that out. It's like what is it, Star Wars Eclipse or something? I don't know. I look forward to watching that, as opposed to some of the movies that we have been picking. Because we watched Replicas with Keanu Reeves, and I was asking myself, why did I watch that? Man, oh man, ooh, ooh, it was ooh.
I have to say though, I'm doing pretty good. Like I'm doing good. You gave me an assignment. I
Oh,
think I'm
you
coming
you
through.
clearly understood the assignment. Like, I'm not gonna say you are picking all garbage, but because I don't like to call anything garbage. Somebody took the time to write the story, it got produced, it got made. I don't know why some of these got made, but somebody else was trying to be creative and made something. So I'm not gonna downplay and call it garbage. That don't mean it's good. That
Yeah.
don't mean that it's award winning by any means. And let me say, okay, so okay, replicas. Replicas is 2018. That is actually something that counts against this movie. This movie was released in 2018. Falls under drama, mystery, thriller, little over an hour and a half, thank God. 11 tomato meter. 11 tomato meter. And only 32% audience score. A little bit of a jump, but not a not a major like, wow, the critics don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
It was
No.
just a handful of people liked it and they was able to, boost it a little bit. Yeah, so of course, I like to talk about some of the numbers. So replicas, I had this pulled up a second ago, and it was all here. Replicas, $30 million budget.
No wonder you wanted to tell me.
$30 million to make replicas.
I hope 29 million of that went to Keanu's
Like it
pay. Like,
had to, right? Like it had to. Surely somebody wasn't out here because it was released in theaters. It was actually released in theaters January
I don't think
2019.
I knew that. I don't think that I knew. I really thought this was a straight to
Straight to streaming.
Netflix.
Check this out.
Yeah.
It released January 11th, 2019, and it was available on streaming April 16th, 2019. January, February, March, April. They was like, okay, we just go cut our
Yeah.
losses
Let's cut it.
and move
Yeah.
it on. Um,
Wow.
Box office gross. How much you think it made? $30 million budget. How much you think it made?
Maybe 7.
Less.
Less.
$4 million box office gross.
He ought to be glad I didn't ruin him. What else? There
But
must
it's
have been something
Keanu.
else. Yeah.
It's Keanu. And let me tell you something. Every bit of this movie was Keanu. Like, for every good movie that Keanu does as the same character, he has a movie like this, but that same character just sucks in this movie.
Yes. Yes.
And this was Thomas Anderson, computer programmer. This time he was a biomechanical engineer or something. So, you know what? I'm gonna let you start. First off, let's say overall, did you have to ask yourself why did I watch this?
Yes.
Okay.
Why did I watch this again? Because I knew I had watched it before in the trailer. which is why it was on my list for us to watch. But
Gotcha.
yes, absolutely. When I watched the movie, I thought there was going to be a twist that Keanu was already a clone because that's how he acted. He was very clone-esque throughout the whole movie.
Like there was no real emotion. It looked like he
There
was
never,
like somebody
like,
told him how he should feel, and he tried to
yes.
pretend like he knew what that meant and act that way.
However, those things that like measure the sound in the room, his voice never changed. There was never a different inflection. His whole family died.
The most,
And
but see, but I will say, in fairness, that is Keanu Reeves in general.
yes,
The most you ever get from him is a pause in the way he says things.
yes.
There's
How
not
he
gonna
was
really
this.
be any real difference in the way he speaks. It's
And then
always gonna
even
come
with
out
that,
just like this.
and even though, so you get comfortable with that because you're like, it's Keanu, it's fine. He calls his friend, I don't know if it's his best friend or they just work buddies, but I guess because he was watching their goldfish, he's his homie. But he calls his friend to come out where he is. He doesn't know why he's coming with the equipment.
See, and that right there, at that moment, like, first of all, I hadn't even made it that far.
Before your nitpicking
My
started,
nitpicking started immediately. But go ahead. He's coming out.
his friend comes in the woods, and the whole family is just laying there. And he's like, what's that? He was okay going along with Keanu's plan. I'm sorry, Mr. Foster, with his plan. With no emotional you just saw them. Your pet, your goldfish sitting.
You're house sitting. You're watching the goldfish. Right. Now, here's the thing. So they have to take this brain scanner thing, right? And basically, okay, so the concept of replicas, the idea is that they are trying to map the human consciousness electronically and upload it into these androids, or almost machines, robots, I guess whatever is the right thing to call it. But they're trying to actually map human consciousness and put human consciousness in these machines. And Keanu apparently is the lead programmer. And the friend she's talking about, he was someone who was a part of the team. So they have this little brain scanner thing that they have to put on the heads in order to copy the consciousness. When the movie starts, I was a little confused because I was like, okay, so he's got the visor thing that like screw it, Keanu's character, because I'm gonna be like, no, because I don't feel like he was anybody else. The most I'll give him is Neo. I'll be like, Neo did this, Neo did that. Thomas Anderson did this. So to make it simple for me, Keanu's character, like Keanu actually, he has this little helmet thing that he puts on, and I'm guessing it was a virtual interface.
I don't know. They don't quite explain.
And I have a problem with that because he's trying to do this whole I can touch the computer hologram in front of me and make stuff happen. Getting Minority Report vibes, right? Iron Man did it better, right?
Yes.
And I'm confused because, like, at least I understood what I was seeing in those cases. In Minority Report, he has the special little glove thing he has to put on.
The glove thing, yep.
That's how he's able to manipulate the hologram. I get that. When I watch Tony Stark do it in Iron Man, I get that it's, some sort of VR thing and he's just got interactive hard light programs. The AI works and what I saw made sense to me. I don't know what the hell Keanu was doing because can everybody else see the screen or just you? And what's like you got stuff writing on the helmet, but that can't be what's up here because you're not touching. how do these two things interact with one another? And if you can just like, if you can write the technology to just like walk and touch these things that aren't there by just, if you can do that,
supposed to be smart
just
to enjoy this movie.
Just program the damn robot. I don't even need human consciousness. Just program, use some coding capability, and whatever you did to write that computer program, just tell that robot to do shit. Obviously,
you mean the iRobot robot?
No, because iRobot, and let me tell you, this is why I'm gonna complain about it. I said 2018. We had we had iRobot in 2004. First of all, let's go back. Minority Report in 2002. iRobot in 2004. Transformers in 2007. Avatar in 2009. I'll even give them something like Terminator Genesis in 2015. That was good, yeah. Have we not figured out CGI for androids? Every one of them movies has an example of CGI for androids. You had a $30 million budget. What was you spending the money on?
Keanu.
What was you... 2018. Why do we have CGI? That literally looked like... that looked like Clash of the Titans from the 80s. It was so glaringly... I almost had to stop and pause and like, is this shit claymation? Wait a minute. They got Gumby on the screen and shit. They did stop motion with this android. I was so pissed. That is the thing that pissed me off most in this movie. Why did the android look like that? iRobot came out in 2004, and that was an amazing robot.
That was definitely, Sully was great.
So if he could look like that, I would have been okay if you just did some motion cap. Put a dude, and I was like, I'm feeling some kind of way, so I had to catch myself. You could have put a person, we'll say that. You could have put a person in a ping pong ball suit and had a better looking android than whatever that crap was you put on screen.
In 2018, for sure.
And that's why I said we'll go back to Terminator Genesis in 2015, where it was still kind of but it was a good android.
It was good. It wasn't just...
There's no reason for the CGI to be looking like this.
And see, we haven't even gotten to the plot yet.
It is okay. You know what? Give me a quick summary of the movie. Actually, I'm gonna sum it up very simple. This dude can copy the thoughts and the consciousness, and of course, it's like the idea is that the consciousness, being able to download a person's consciousness and their memories and everything, is what makes us who we are. There's an interesting little conversation which was completely misplaced by Alice Eve, who, why was she in the movie?
Absolutely, why was she in the movie?
Nothing added by her being there.
No.
And honestly, I think it would have been better. They probably could have did better if they had somebody else. Maybe they could have saved some of that 30 million. But the idea is that if they copy the consciousness and memories and everything, and they download it into a physical robotic body, that, hey, a person can live on. So if a soldier dies, if something happens to somebody, you can save them by putting them in this other form. Road trip. So what the hell do you think happens?
Have this incredibly deep conversation about all of this and how she doesn't agree with it. Oh, never going on a road trip.
He's like, do you want me to quit? I'm looking like, bruh.
Check me out.
Is that an option?
But he didn't even... I was like, what? Is that what she said? Is that what you heard?
Right. No, more importantly...
Did you believe how you were saying it?
Is that even an option? Because I'm going to tell you, my favorite character in the whole movie, Jones. That's the boss.
He was good.
I like the boss because every time he was on screen, I felt like something was about to happen. But yeah, it was so the family, they're going this road trip. Of course, horrible car accident, almost comically bad car accident.
It was unintentionally funny.
Wow.
Keanu's tall enough to miss it, though.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. He gets out. He's kind of freaked. I get it. The most emotion we got from Keanu the entire movie. Because 20 seconds later, he's on his phone. Did he call 911? No. He called his coworker. Bring the brain mapping thing. If you know, okay, and this is where the first, like, what the hell moment comes into this movie. The people who you are house sitting for, the lead scientist of the program that you're working on, just called you and said, hey, by the way, do me a favor. Get the brain mapping headgear and meet me about an hour away from the house. You're not suspicious at this point? Something doesn't, like, you're okay to do everything up to the, like, I would have had questions right from the, like, bruh, like, wait, aren't y'all on vacation? I did love how Thomas Middleditch, and I want to give a little shout out to him because he was in this movie and I think he needs to be recognized for being in this movie. But Thomas Middleditch played this great character of Ed. And I liked Ed, but I hated Ed, but I liked Ed because Ed was the only one that seemed to have any fucking common sense in the entire movie.
This is true.
And when I saw Ed walking out of Jones's office, I knew right then. He told him. Trying to like, you know, because basically, my man, in the course of this movie, they have figured out how to perfect human cloning. Okay, and they have figured out how to map the human consciousness to put it inside the clone body. And all they're doing.
How Keanu just very casually told his wife that they all died when he got caught trying to clear a memory from his daughter's brain. I have to be honest. There was an accident.
No. When Jones gets to the house, she's like, okay, we're not done. We're not done here. Alice Eve, I will give Alice Eve credit. The only thing, like, I liked her as the replica, not as the wife. Because she made sense as the replica. Like, she was a very convincing, I'm not human, but I'm human.
Yes, because she was acting like Keanu, which I'm like, Keanu.
And so it does give you kind of that Blade Runner feel, like maybe Keanu's a replica, maybe he's not. But then they ruin that at the end by showing you this replica that he makes, but he actually figures out how to put the human consciousness in the robot. And so it's like,
from his own. He used his own.
You know what? That was actually when my man's like, are you crying blood? That was like a G moment for Keanu in the movie. Like, he put the headset on, he shot the needle in his eye.
Yeah.
That was a G moment.
I'll give him that.
All the techno babble that they spit out at the first 5 minutes of the movie just to convince you that this was like a brainy kind of movie just kind of pissed me off. Because it was so unnecessary. I mean, I don't know. Did they have whoever's in charge of human cloning on site to say, no, that's not what we would say right there. It's not how that works. No.
I sure hope not. So then there's also this whole, there weren't enough clone pods. So he had to choose.
So
the
family of 4 who died, because it's the wife, the daughter, the son, and they have another daughter. He knows that he's going to bring the wife back. So he writes all their names down on a piece of paper. He slides the wife's name up because he knows she's bringing her back. There's 2 pods remaining, 3 kids. So he takes the 3 names, puts them in a bowl. He has to pick a name. He tells his friend Ed, who's like all invested in being a part of all of this. And like, you know, what the hell are morals? They're scientists. So, you know, what are morals? Life. So death is nothing to them.
He was adamant about not picking that name, though.
Oh, yeah. He was like, nah, bro, this is on you. This is on you. I've done enough. No, you're doing this part. And that made sense. So he had that real Sophie's choice. Who's going to live? Who's going to die? and knowing that you can only bring back 2 of your 3 children, like, how do you make that decision? So, I mean, that was one of the few things that like really kind of stuck out. But that moment was ruined by Keanu's piss poor acting with emotion. Was he actually trying to cry?
It looked like it.
It was so bad.
It was bad.
And I'm not talking like
it was. He didn't even care.
It wasn't like Tyrese crying. It wasn't like R. Kelly crying. This wasn't even like your boy that was just on court crying. It wasn't that. None of those fake cries. This was the worst version of sad Keanu crying. I don't think I saw a single tear. It was just like some dry heaving and grunts. It was like, bruh.
It was bad. And it took you out because that was the time of the movie. The only time I kind of felt sad. Not even when they all died, but when that moment came, I was like, oh, he has to choose. And you could tell, parents aren't supposed to have favorites, but you could tell he really liked the youngest one. So
Zoe seemed to be like the special one. She did, for whatever reason. But my redeeming quality, I wanted to know how it was going to end. 60 seconds, wrap it up. Tell me did you have a redeeming quality? Because I know you were struggling to find one. Come back for part 2 where Dunesia can think of one, because I don't think she has one. And it's all good. But yeah.
I was actually okay that like the bad guys kind of still won.
Well, that was us. Why did I watch that? Replicas. Bad movie. I don't know what we're watching.